using clothes, like first time I used, I think it was 87. It started with a men's jacket. I feel very close to that material, and I think it's related to my childhood. I had my father died when I was a child, and I wanted to have him around me somehow, so I was wearing his jacket, something like that. And then I started, when I came artist, to use this material. I felt very close to this. In a way, I talk about myself in these artworks. It's a good symbol for human being. And for me, it's important that all of the clothes are old, so I have the feeling there has been a warm heart inside of the shirt. So also the kind of energy of this person who has been wearing, the history of this person and the background, and a little bit of this energy is still there.
We're delighted to be working with Brighton Festival for 2013 in co-commissioning Finnish artist Kaarina Kaikkonen to make the Blue Route for Fabrica. The Blue Route is it's an installation, a sculptural installation that's comprised of about 350 men's shirts suspended on wires across the space. Each of the shirts has been donated at some point by just people from Brighton and Hove, but we've been working in partnership with Oxfam to help collect the shirts, and we've also received a lot of direct donations from people who are gallery visitors to Fabrica, and all the shirts are going to go back to Oxfam, so they'll kind of carry on a journey to somewhere else. The Blue Route is one element of a much wider project that's called Out of the Blue, which is a partnership between several organisations in Brighton and a group of organisations, cultural organisations in Amiens in France. At the kind of conceptual centre of the project is woad, which is a dye that was produced in Europe and was a big part of the history of Amiens and the wealth of Amiens. We're actually, the UK organisations, the Brighton-based cultural organisations, are actually looking at the colour associated with woad, blue, but the idea of blue and its wider cultural and psychological associations is something that both we, Brighton Museum and Hove Museum, were really interested in exploring, and the Blue Route is the first of 3 exhibitions in Brighton which explores different aspects of blue.
Yeah, the colors are important in this work. Sometimes I felt the colors are too easy in a way, too beautiful, too kind of light material, not material, but the way of doing art, too easy way. And then in a way I want to be like a kind of masochist. I denied colors, but they are coming back. I feel, okay, I say, okay, let them come. I was here before, like 10 years ago, and already then I very much liked this space, and I was very familiar to the architectural part of this building, and also I wanted now to make a artwork that is having a kind of dialogue with the building. So in here we have the many arcs, so in a way I respond. So when I start with a new work, it's always like first I have to come to see the site and get the feeling, what is the feeling of the site, my feeling. So the work comes out what is myself, my own history, and the building, and the history of the building, and everything together involved make this artwork.
Having known Kaarina's work for a long time, she worked with us first 10 years ago. There are particular qualities in her work. There's a very strong sense of loss. There's maybe a sense of melancholy as well that's not necessarily associated with loss, but you're aware of a sense of kind of passage, whether it's human passage or time passing, I think, in quite a lot of her work. So that seemed to sit well with an idea of blue, or some of the associations of blue. And in a way, that kind of melancholy aspect is something that we're kind of picking up through 2 artist residencies that were also running alongside the exhibition. Scott Smith is a musician, he's an American-born musician and dance artist. He's exploring the blues, his relationship to the blues, in a way the impact that the blues has had on his life and artistic practice. The other artist in residence is Stig Evans, and he's also an artist like Kaarina that we've worked with before. He produced a great project called The Colour Diaries, which looked at our perception of colour, what we feel about colour, the provenance of particular colours, and he's kind of picking up those interests, but just in relation to blue for this exhibition. As a companion piece to this work, Kaarina's also going to be making a piece at the Brighton Clock Tower. Those who know Brighton well will know it's a central landmark in the city. It's a meeting place, and obviously a place where many people glance every day just to see what time it is. So we're delighted, as our Brighton Festival, that Kaarina's responded to this site as a place that she also wants to produce a piece of work for, and I'm sure it's going to be as fantastic as this one is.
I think not all the people want to go to art galleries. There are a lot of people who never enter art museum. So I wanted to that everybody can see my art or hate my art or whatever. So I wanted to make art outside. So it's more difficult, much more difficult to make installation outside, because we have the difficulty with the weather, difficulty with the all noise of the city, the difficulty of the visual noise, and the all kind of disturbing things. But I think it's challenging, but also very interesting.